I'm sitting here on vacation in beautiful, beautiful Santa Marta. In Colombia, it'd be like Colombia's version of Hawaii. Yes, Hawaii is definitely better. This is pretty epic. I gave myself permission to not make content, and this is just coming through really, really strong. So whether someone sees this, whether you watch this right now or see this in a month or 6 months, this is for you. I was reflecting on the error of my ways of modern day spiritual stuff, of plant medicine. I think it was at the ayahuasca retreat. I was laughing with a friend about, or who was it? Remember when the ayahuasca told you to marry this woman or do this or do that? And I believed a lot of things without listening to my heart, to my direction. And it's not only is it common for guys to fall into this, I think it's necessary, to where we take some meditation retreat or some tantra retreat or some plant medicine experience and we can just run with it. And it can be kind of mystical. You smoke bufo and you go, I just understand everything. I was talking about that on a call today. And there's such a beauty to these things. And I want to share, I'll share some metaphors, I'll share my own story about just being lost and not calling it that. What I have found, whether it's me, friends, clients, as a guy, you need a direction and a plan. When we are just, best way to call it is over surrendering. Like I can think back, and I was telling the story on a date earlier this week. I was with this woman who was a friend who I just dearly loved, bro. I'd never been connected to another human like that. And I leaned into, what if God doesn't want me to have kids? Because she can't have kids, she doesn't want kids. But she's got a 20-something-year-old daughter. And I was like, that's what I'm supposed to do. What if that is? And in that moment, in that particular example, I would say I was being overly surrendered to compromising on my vision, which ultimately means not being a safe man. More on that in another video. Because if I know this is where I'm going, this is who I am, and I compromise on that for a woman, inherently that woman will not trust me. She'll stay with you for a while, maybe 3 months, 6 months, maybe 42 years, but she won't really trust you because she'll know you will waver. And I remember being in that relationship years ago now, and her saying, that's all I can give you. Can you love me enough to accept what I can give you? The example I'm using is a bit extreme because it was someone I'd never been that connected to. So it seemed like it really could have been, let's move my hand there, don't have a tripod, the right decision. And when we, that I thought was listening to me was listening to God. When we listen to, let's go real mystical, baby. When we listen to a plant medicine, when we listen to the mushrooms, to the bufo, to the ayahuasca, to what a spirit told you in a pyramid in Egypt or on top of the Eiffel Tower, or pick whatever your thing is, or, on some mountain in Hawaii. All those things are outside of you. I've had to learn this shit the hard way. If you talk to, I'm just going to make this one up, or if I've talked to a spirit on top of a mountain in Hawaii, and that's the spirit of children or relationships, that spirit probably has an agenda of more relationships and more children. If I have a clear direction as a man, or you do, and I listen to that external force, I am not to be trusted as a man and not a safe man. Doesn't mean your plan's not up for evaluation, it's not up for reconfiguring some things. I was in this relationship about a decade ago, my first Colombian girlfriend. And I'll never forget what she said. It's still 10 and a half, 11 years later, the best piece of relationship advice I've probably ever gotten. Well, there was one other that was pretty good, but those two are the top two for sure. And it was, you don't know the level of safety, security, certainty it provides. When a guy really knows who he is and what he wants and where he's going. And this back in 2015, I guess it would have been, yes, almost coming up on 11 years. Was hard to hear. It kind of made sense. And I didn't totally get it till a little later. As a guy, our path is to decide and carve out a path. And I thought back then that meant something weird, like, well, I should take her feelings into consideration, and I should, but I shouldn't bend. It's actually like, I was going to say the word sin. I don't like that word. It's dishonoring to myself to know there's a wisdom that lives inside of me as a man or inside you as a man, and to know this is where I'm absolutely going, and to break that. That's like fucking over God. It's like fucking over you. And as guys in relationships, or if we're into spiritual stuff, or if we can show up anxious under stress, we may feel, not know, big difference. We may feel in our emotions, not our heart probably, that we need to bend. Or said differently, we need to please. We could call it kindness. It's probably not. It's probably being the nice guy. And as I'm sitting here, I just had some weird experiences happen the last month. I'm sitting on this vacation alone. First time I've taken a vacation alone for about a week into the jungles of Colombia. Going to the beach tomorrow. I'm reflecting on where I've bended where I shouldn't have bent. Or where I almost bent. And I was like, no. Oh, that was hard. So as a man, are you in a place, or can you think of a time when you were in a place where you're really connected to your truth and you have to own that? Because there's so much new age stuff of, I'm not going to pick on anyone in particular, but it's like, brother, I had a divine masculine activation or whatever, and I need to move to the beach and open my relationship. It's like, okay, what even is a divine masculine activation? You know, it's a good divine masculine activation? Setting a goal that's uncomfortable and achieving it. That's a hell of a divine masculine activation. And sometimes we're getting seduced by new age spirituality or the feminine, almost like, you know, it's not intelligent to be seduced by a stripper. You could be working with a plant medicine that is in effect a stripper in your reality that you're getting seduced by. You would go, I shouldn't listen to a stripper at a strip club. No, you shouldn't. But if we're listening to the next new shiny object in spirituality, or personally, I'm not a huge fan of marijuana as a plant medicine. I think it can be used that way. I think it's almost virtually never used that way. Probably at least 99% of the time it's not used that way. That's another video for another story. When's the last time you've taken time for you alone, doing this now in a different way, where to really know and really feel not into your emotions, but feel into your heart of what's the truth of who you are and where are you going? Especially if you're single, and in a different way, especially if you have a wife and kid, because they're relying on you. In life, we need to be out of balance. We also need balance. As a man, we're not supposed to be 50-50. You're definitely not supposed to be 50-50 on who's paying on a date. But it's supposed to be dominant in our direction in our knowing and in our consciousness as a man, while being connected to our feelings, to movement, to heart, and to know when to flow between the two. As a guy, if we are in charge of the vehicle of life, you're driving a Lexus because it's luxurious and it keeps going, it doesn't break down. Do you know how to drive, and are you equipped to drive, and do you know where you're going? Watch out for getting seduced by plant medicine, by new age spirituality, or whatever, or by some divine masculine activation bullshit on top of the Eiffel Tower or a pyramid in Egypt talking to a leprechaun or whatever. Take time for you, or if you haven't, when would very soon be a good time to take time for you and take a new inventory for who you are, what you want, where you're going, in the deepest truth of your heart. Thanks for tuning in. From a river in Santa Marta. See you guys soon.